Don't forget to keep checking out the links down in the description, and if there's any other links that you would like me to bring to attention, please message me on any of my social medias or put them down in the comments below. I'll be happy to add them to the other links that are listed down below and also talk about them if you would like me to. Hello Friendsies, welcome back to my channel. It is hot and I'm like super out of breath and my mouth is really dry, and I think it's the heat, but it also could just be a me problem. Hi, hello, welcome to the first video of September. This was not the original plan, but I think for the month of December? Hello? I think for the month of September, I want to make it like a book. I almost called it book talk, a booktube month. I want to make like a booktube month kind of, because I was looking at like things I had written down in my planner, and a couple of the things, like I already kind of had like 2 booktube ideas. One was already written down, which is today's video, and another one I kind of thought of after the fact, so I think I'm gonna make it a booktube. So, welcome to the first video of like September booktube, because I'm like, ooh, back to school, like we'll talk about like today's video. We're gonna talk about like something I read when I was in high school, and it's like back to school, so let's do that. I don't know why in that voice. Here we go with this week's video. This week's. I am struggling today. So anyway, I want to talk about 2 books specifically. Originally this was going to be just about 1 book, but I'm going to talk about 2. So I want to talk about 1, my complicated relationship with The Great Gatsby, which makes it sound so much more extreme than it is, and another book that I had to read in high school that I want to know why the fuck we read that. I think, not like legitimately why, because I think I understand why, but still. So, complicated relationship with The Great Gatsby. I don't think I have the book anymore, because what I did senior year and like the summer after senior year is I took 2 English classes senior year. I think I've talked about this before. I took AP Lit and I took HFS, which was Hemingway, Faulkner, Steinbeck. I wanted to take a Shakespeare class because I still do, don't get me wrong, but I had an absolute like hyperfixation, obsession with Shakespeare for a long time. I have a stuffed Shakespeare. I should bring that into a video. I will put that in a video at some point. I have like a stuffed Shakespeare that a friend got me because I was obsessed with Shakespeare for a long time. So what I did after senior year and like during senior year is every book that I read between the 2 classes I bought and owned, or my mom got donations from the library and I owned them. So I had The Help, I had The Crucible, I had, oh my god, what was the fucking book I read in AP Lit? It was like the first book, and it was about a specific culture. And like yams were like a big thing. Yams were like in the first like 6 chapters. If anybody knows, please let me down in the comments. That's literally all I remember about it. Yeah, I had The Help, The Crucible, I had The Grapes of Wrath. I had like everything that I read between the 2 English classes, because that was also the year, I've talked about this before, that was also the year that I was reading. AP Lit had 2. It was one that we would kind of go over in class together, and one that we were supposed to read outside of class, because then like each unit involved 2 books. I had a book for HFS at any given time. Oh, like Farewell to Arms, like we read that. And then I was always reading like a personal book. That was the year I read The Diviners and the first 2 of the Rance and Riggs Miss Peregrine books, because at the time, 2014, 2013, there were only 2 books out. Hello? But we actually read The Great Gatsby junior year in my just regular English. It was like English 3 or something. We read The Great Gatsby in junior year, and that was the year that the boy I dated in high school before we started dating was in my class, and I was absolutely in love with him, absolutely infatuated with him. We read The Great Gatsby in class, and he really liked it, I really liked it. Like, I don't know, it was just like a weird thing that we bonded over, something about The Great Gatsby. We watched like one of the, no, we didn't even watch the full movie. I don't remember what year it was either, but we watched one of the movie scenes where the mistress gets like hit by a car. Myrtle? Was that her name? And then that year, it was 2012, 2013. It had to have been 2013. Yeah, because junior year ended in 2013. In 2013, when the like Great Gatsby remake movie came out with Leonardo da Vinci DiCaprio. When that movie came out, I took him. And I considered it like one of our first dates, but he definitely didn't. Anyway, him and I were like obsessed with it, and it was like a big thing for the 2 of us, and we watched the movie, and both of us like had the album from the new movie like on our little iPods and everything, and it was great. We loved it, and I had the book, and I was obsessed with it. Like, I never fully I didn't fully understand some of like the themes and some of the things that were said at the time because I was not at all focused on the book. I was fully focused on the boy. But but yeah, Great Gatsby. And that's just it, like, because it was like so important to like, it was a huge unit that we did in class, and it was so important to me because it was linked with that boy. That is why I have a complicated relationship with it, because now that I've like am older and can understand certain themes and everything and like are actually paying attention to it, it's like a weird taste in my mouth. Not specifically because of the boy, but also because like the book is a book written by a man, you know, F. Scott Fitzgerald. It's a book written by a man, and it's just like, I don't know, it's a weird, it's a classic story, don't get me wrong, like, and the fact that it's in public domain now and has like such a huge influence on like the literary world and also like pop culture realistically, it's like, it's weird, it's just weird. We also don't talk about like High School Heather. Like, High School Heather is like, ew. We don't know her. She's gross and awful. None of this is making sense, so I'm gonna move on to the second book. So in HFS, we read, like I said, we read like The Grapes of Wrath, The Farewell to Arms. What is the other one? There was another one that's like popular. Is Farewell to Arms the one where he's in Spain with the bull riding? It has to be. So what's the other one? There's a couple that we read. I don't fucking remember. Again, the boy I was in love with, that was senior year. He was in my class and sat directly next to me. So I was, again, not at all focused. I was very much obsessed with this boy that I was dating. Right? Right. Okay. But one of the books we read was at the end of the year. It was like a class full of seniors. So it was the end of the year and we had maybe a month, 3 weeks left in class. And my teacher was like, okay, well, we finished everything that I had planned, even with like snow days and everything. We finished everything I had planned, but we still have like a full unit's worth of time that we need to read something. I have one book still that is really not at all appropriate for anybody to read, but especially not for high school kids. And I don't mean in a way where you guys won't take it seriously or you won't necessarily understand it. I just don't think it's appropriate for the like content of it. I just think it's kind of awful. What do you guys think? And all of us were like, we can handle it. We're mature and everything. So we decided, and the teacher decided, that we were going to read Sanctuary by Faulkner. William Faulkner? Is that his fucking name? I don't know. Sanctuary. I grew up on the internet. I've talked about this a million times before. I've been exposed to a million terrible things. AO3, and this is not me like disregarding fan fiction or anything like that because I'm obsessed with fan fiction. I love AO3. But again, AO3 with the tag system and everything has like dead dove do not eat, and I have still gone and read some of the things. Like, there is so much in this world that I have seen that I probably shouldn't have seen at the ages I saw them. Sanctuary, genuinely, take that information. Sanctuary genuinely is one of the most horrific things I've ever read in my life. Here's your trigger warning. I'm going to talk about briefly some things. I'm going to give you basically the synopsis of the book. So, trigger warning here. Just, if a lot of things are going to make you uncomfortable, stop watching. Sanctuary is about, I think he's a reporter. I'm trying to remember as best I can, but be aware. I think he's a reporter who, for whatever reason, is at, like, it's supposed to be, like, very, like, backwoods, redneck, like, moonshiners in the middle of the woods. He goes there, and he's, like, hanging out with them, getting drunk, whatever. I don't remember why he's there. This, like, young guy, it's like Brad and Cindy, you know what I mean? From, like, horror movies, like The Football Player and The Pretty Cheerleader, like, essentially. And I don't remember when this is, I think it's, like, between the 40s and the 60s, something around that. These two, like, teenagers end up at this house as well, because I think, like, their car broke down. And it's, like, the moonshiners. There is a black man who is disabled. Like, he's, like, big and stocky and everything. And then there's, like, this creepy, I don't know necessarily if he has albinoism or if he's just pale and, like, scary and looks like the white rats with the red eyes just because that's how he is. And he's like tiny and like... All these people are in this one house, and they're like, the boyfriend gets drunk out of his mind, and the girl is like very much painted as like sweet and innocent, like basically what like the Yahtzees would want as like their poster child. Get it? And she's like very sweet and innocent and everything, and she like, after a while of being there with him and feeling incredibly uncomfortable, because that's exactly how like the book is painted, this place is very uncomfortable for like a young girl to be. She kind of like wanders the property because she's trying to kind of find like a way out or somebody that will help her. And what happens is she ends up in the barn and she gets like brutally raped. Like horribly, like absolutely terrible. It doesn't, I don't remember if it gives like description of what happens, but it's horrendous. I don't remember exactly what happens with the reporter guy, but it gets to a point where the reporter is in jail. The black man from the bootlegger's house is also in jail. He is a disabled man. He is not, I don't want to say not able to do something like that, but the point is that he's innocent. But because he is a black man, that's what happens. He is in jail. He is the one that's being, like, held guilty for this. And it kind of, like, it focuses very much on the reporter and, like, what's happening in the jail and, like, what's happening in the town, and then eventually flicks over to, like, basically a backstory. But what happens is all of this happens. The black man gets executed. I think there is a prison riot, if I remember correctly. The reporter gets out, I think, of the prison riot, and then he is on, like, trial. And what happens is you get, like, then later kind of, like, the girl's side of the story, like, the flashback or something, and it turns out the creepy little, like, fucking rat man was the one who raped her. Fully, obviously, blamed it on the black man and made it in a way that would, like, very much seem probable to him, and especially in that time, all they have to do is go, yeah, no, he did it, and everybody believes them. He took the girl, the crazy little rat man, he took the girl and basically, like, sold her into prostitution and was, like, not her pimp, but also her pimp. Like, there was, like, different men that, like, pimped her out. But, like, he was kind of, if she, like, quote-unquote acted out of line, it was, like, the pimps would punish her, but then they would send her to the creepy guy, and he would, like, fully punish her. Like, shit like that. I think it was a case of, like, she fell in love with somebody, or, like, the boyfriend came to get her, or something like that. The point is that at the end of the book, she is there at the trial, but she's only there briefly, because then what happens is that, like, the reporter is, like, put to be, like, put on, like, death row, essentially, and she is, like, the last he heard of her, she's being whisked away to Paris by her rich father to, like, not take care of her, but to, like, cover up the, like, quote-unquote shame that was brought to the family because this poor girl was raped and kidnapped and sold off into prostitution. This is a book that Faulkner wrote. I don't remember much about Faulkner, but that is... that sounds like it was right for him. So that was Sanctuary. We read that as seniors, and it was very upsetting. Especially when you consider that, like, obviously the sexual violence in the book, and the year previous, in junior year, when we read Catcher in the Rye, that's another book that we read, when there is that chapter in the book where it's like... I saw something on TikTok recently where it's like, no, this is, like, definitely what's being said in the book. And at the time, I wasn't 100% sure because I wasn't super educated on, like, things like this. But there's that chapter in the book where it ends, it's like, it was brought into conversation at classes, do you believe that that teacher did something inappropriate to Holden? Do you think that the teacher, you know, touched him, molested him, like, sexually abused him, anything? And I said, I'm not sure, but I feel very uncomfortable, and I think it's a possibility. And me and this little white boy, I will never forget which one it was. Mike, I'm looking at you, you little bitch. Me and this stupid white boy got into a fight, and he was like, well, you can't just say that you feel uncomfortable, so it definitely happened. And how much you want to bet he had a great time in college? I'm not saying for sure. Probably, though. Let's be honest. If he's really defending a fucking book character that does not exist, either you're going to defend yourself or you're going to be defending your friends. And I'm the one who got yelled at for getting upset and overexcited about the possibility that a fictional person was sexually assaulted and was being told that I can't just think that. Okay. So I think it's important to have those conversations in high school, but holy shit, I don't think Sanctuary was the book to read. I really don't. Again, but keep in mind, this is coming from a white woman, palm-colored woman, white woman, so I could very well be wrong. There could be people that are watching this video that go, no, that sounds like a kind of book that we need to read, especially with the racism element in it. And I will fully agree with you. I just don't have, like, those critical thinking skills. I'm just sitting here going, oh my god, that was fucked up. I don't want to read that again. We read it. Everybody in my class, surprisingly, was very mature about it, especially because that kid from junior year was in the same class again. Everybody in the class was very mature about it, and we had very, like, open conversations about it, but I don't specifically remember any of them being about the racism of the book. I think it was very much just about, like, the sexual assault in the book. And, like, not the victim blaming, but kind of, like, not bystander. Maybe it was, like, a mix of both. Like the bystander effect and things like that. We had a lot of conversations about that part of the book, but not the racism, which for the first portion of the book is the main focus. That an innocent black man, especially because he is disabled, is the one being put to death when the, like, reporter guy is like, he's not sure who it is, but he knows it wasn't the black man, because I think in the part of the book too where there's, like, a scream from the barn, he's with the black man. Like, in a different part of the house. Like, I think that was part of it. But nobody's going to believe the reporter because of some other thing that happened. I haven't read it in many years. It has been 8 years since I had to double check my fingers. It's been 8 years since I was a senior in high school, and that is how long ago I read that book. And I've read many, many books and fan fictions and watched a lot of different media in between then, so I don't fully remember very specific details, but that was the overall synopsis of the book. Part of me is like, oh my god, why did we read that? That's so fucked up. The other part of me is like, there's probably some kind of critical thinking there that I'm missing, especially after 8 years of not remembering. But again, remember, this was not introduced as, like, this is a unit in class that we are going to talk about. This was, we have a unit's worth of time left. I don't know what else to read to you guys. This is the last book I have in my closet. I loved this English teacher. My words got weird. I loved this English teacher, but oh my god. Oh my god. So, I don't know how to just easily transition from that. I really don't know how to just be like, ah, yeah, lighthearted conversation now. But that is the first episode video of, like, this booktube month, because I think I really do want to do, like, a booktube month. I think I might get my mom involved. Basically, I know what I wanted to do for the first week of September, and I know what I want to do for the last week of September for videos. The weeks in between, I'm not super sure. We will see as they come out together. We'll figure it out together. I'll try to get my mom involved in one of the videos if I come up with an idea. And I hope you guys are looking forward to this kind of booktube month. I think it'll be fun. And one of the things about doing YouTube is, even though this is a hobby and at any time I could be like, I don't really want to do this anymore, I do really enjoy it. I do like having a video out for you guys once a week. And I always worry that I'm never going to have, like, enough ideas to, like, continue making videos. There are some times where I, like, scheduling or, you know, technical difficulties, like issues with Wi-Fi, that I can't post a video during the week. But there are times that I'm really worried that I'm not going to have an idea, and that's why I'm not posting a video that week, and that's really scary to me. I don't like that, because even though this is a hobby and I can easily wipe my hands clean of it, I still don't like disappointing you guys. There's 72 of you now, which is so exciting. That's a lot of people. I can't even picture that many people, like, in a room, just, like, all staring at me, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of, like, too big of a number for me to kind of process. So that's really exciting, and I don't like the idea of disappointing you guys just because I can't, like, come up with anything. So please leave a like if you're excited for this month's kind of theme, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!